Well, hey, greetings everybody to another Tech Tip Tuesday. Welcome to 2024. Happy New Year. I'm super excited for another awesome year of supporting you guys. My name's Ken Close. I am a Healy World member, just like most of you guys here in the United States. My background is electronics engineering, and I am one of the pioneers for the lovely Healy USA. And I'm joined today by our head of operations, Jake Barron. How you doing, Jake?
Hey, Ken, Happy New Year, everyone.
Hey, Happy New Year. And we have always a amazing customer service representative in the background. And tonight we have Anthony, right? Is that who we've got tonight?
Anthony is here to kick off the year on Tech Tip Tuesday. So thank you so much.
Right on. Thank you, Anthony, for being here. So much appreciate you. Everybody say hi to Anthony. He's going to be having the lightning magical fingers in the background, helping with some of the questions and all that kind of stuff. So if you guys are brand new to Tech Tip Tuesday, well, I'm super glad you're here. Tell somebody else to come and join us because it's a lot of fun. What we do here is this is a chat-based forum. So you guys put your questions in the chat. We will bring those live onto the call. We'll talk about those, unpack those, and solve those. We talk about all kinds of stuff from the apps to the technology, to the usage concepts. I mean, we go down some pretty fun rabbit holes, I'm telling you. What we can't do, though, folks, is we can't treat, diagnose, prevent, or coach or suggest anything around disorders, diseases, or any kind of applications such as that. We do have some resources for that, though. So if you guys do have some questions, we'll refer you to the right spot and get some great answers. So I think I'm ready. How about you, Jake?
Common goal, which is to
Hold on a second. My Healy Academy started playing.
Hey, see already. There's our information stream right there. Just can't wait to get on board. I love it.
Let's get started.
Let's see what we have here. So by the way, speaking of Academy, you guys, if you haven't been there, you got to go to our Healy Academy. There's so much great concepts there. Jake, you want to talk about the Academy a little bit? You're muted. We can't hear you. You're muted. Did I do something?
Sorry, I was just trying to stop the video from playing. I found out where it was coming from. So
it's hiding.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go ahead and let me share my screen. We'll go into Academy.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So this I was actually in the section for those of you that caught our last Healy for Beginners and Beyond, right before when was it again? Right before the Christmas break holiday. Ken Close and the amazing Sonia Tarita, we all kind of teamed up and we talked about doing remote sessions via the Analyse app for groups. So not just an individual, but actually a group, which was very cool. And as we talked a lot about quantum entanglement, the information field, and this is where we talked about some of the resources that we have, but we definitely point everybody back to the Healy Academy because it's gotten so great over the last 12 months. It's come a long way as far as the content that is available there. And every month there's pretty much some great new videos, tutorials, trainings added to it. So you'll see here there's this whole section on the information field. So if you ever wondered how is it possible to do these remote analysis and how is quantum entanglement tied in with the information field versus the technology that's in Healy, the physical noise generator, and how does this all work? We kind of went into those details on that last Healy for Beginners and Beyond. You can find that recording on our YouTube channel at HealyAmericas.com. This whole series of videos on the information field is great. They're all worth checking out here. So this is a great starting point for learning more, taking a deeper dive into the science of the information field.
It's kind of a relatively, well, I take that back. It's not really a relatively new field, but it's
Mhm.
gained a lot of popularity lately. So some
Yeah.
newly birthed popularity in quantum entanglement, especially with the team that winning the Nobel Prize just last year. Well, now we're in 2024, so 2022,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
2022, the team winning the Nobel Prize for the science around quantum entanglement. So you guys can Google that. It's some great stuff. I think now we're starting to prove a lot of these amazing scientists from the past. Nikola Tesla, for instance, talking about the non-physical and where we can actually interface with the non-physical. And the more science, and his quote says, it says that the day that science begins to study the non-physical, it'll make more advancements in 1 decade than it had in the entire history of science. So think about that. We're talking about non-physical. We've been in the physical for so long, and it's about time that we really dive into the non-physical and show everyone where this deeper sense of alignment comes from. So quantum entanglement, that concept of how do you actually what is the physics of
Mhm.
how one molecule in one space and time and another molecule in another space and time can actually be part of the same moment, right? So yeah, we talked about that. It was a lot of fun.
Yep. Yeah, and if you want to check out that recording, if you missed it, since we have a little bit of time here, just show you here on our Healy World Americas channel on YouTube. You can get to it within YouTube at Healy World Americas, or you can just go type in HealyAmericas.com. It'll take you directly here too. And you'll see some of the recent videos on the top. But yeah, actually, while we're on this main page, the Frequencies and Friends, which just ended 7 hours ago, is already up on our YouTube channel. So if you missed anything from today, all the big announcements about January and what's to come here, first part of the year, that recording is available here. But to find all of the Healy for Beginners and Beyond, you can see here December 21st, 2023. So you can see there as far as the recent videos, but you can also go to the playlist and then go to Healy for Beginners and Beyond, view full playlist, and you'll see right at the top here the most recent one with special guests Sonia Tarita and Ken Close. And then you click on that, it'll take you right to the video. And if you click more in the description here, click on more, and you'll see all the different timestamps for the sections that we covered: vibration and quantum entanglement, information field and quantum entanglement, resources and academy, the new science section, and then the live analysis that we did with the whole group on the call, which was very cool, and kind of discussing how that works. And yeah, there's a great topics. You can watch the whole thing, or you can just sort of pick individual sections to watch there as well.
Yeah, any of you guys that are here tonight, were you on that call? Chat, or comment there in the chat that if you guys were there, that whole, oh, sorry about the cuckoo in the background. That whole experience, right? There was kind of a measuring stick. We were able to take a look at ourselves and any condition that we were maybe working on, thinking of, or trying to align. And then kind of giving a report at the beginning and then towards the end. And it was quite interesting. It was very amazing. I myself even had a shift and change because of the entanglement energy that was being fed to me. So it was great.
Yeah, we had several people report positive experiences just from that one session there. So it was great.
Yeah. We got somebody that says, "Hey, can you do it again?"
Yeah, well, we actually we're planning the next one. We're not exactly sure when it'll be, but we're probably going to do one focused on pets, which is going to be a lot of fun. Where everyone can bring their pets onto the screen, so we can have a screen full of everybody holding their pets, and we can do a group picture, group analysis, and because that'll be a great experience too. But we're gonna try to do a lot more of those types of more unique ways to use your Healy, because we've covered a lot of the basics, I would say, on Healy for beginners and beyond. We've covered a lot of the beginner stuff. Of course, whenever there's anything new that comes out, we like to focus on that as well. But maybe we'll focus a lot more on the beyond in 2024. Because since we have all these great resources with the recordings that people can go back and reference, maybe we'll try out some new things too.
I love the idea, because the beyond part, I think that there's so many folks out there that are discovering what Healy can do, and actually kind of pushing the envelope a little bit, right? So, and it's interesting too, because I think that it is a collective knowledge that starts to push that envelope, and then we discover even more. Maybe some of you guys are familiar with those of you that have the MagHealy, that there's a request for some study participants within the MagHealy, and again, just trying to improve the understanding based on the audience, based on the field, based on you, see what's going on, so that we can give more insight. This is Jake, you want to talk about that study at all? You got any info on that?
I actually don't have any information on it yet, so yeah.
Well, so there was an email. Those of you who have a MagHealy, some people were offered the opportunity to be part of a study, and it's just a matter of using the MagHealy, kind of doing a little questionnaire before, and then using it, and then doing a questionnaire after, just to kind of give some of your subjective input, and then that collective information will kind of go into a database and see how it goes. So anyway, so that's kind of a fun thing. I mean, Marcus has done other things like this with the Healy and the MagHealy together. So and I get a lot of questions about the difference. What's the difference between the Healy and the MagHealy, and how all this stuff is being used, and how are we getting the information into our bodies and such. So these studies are kind of helping to see the effects. Yeah, so it's a lot of
and those will be put into one of our future sort of reports that we release and make available via Academy, via the download section of back office, marketing materials, that kind of stuff too.
And some of you guys were involved in some of these studies. I see Laura says I was involved in this study. Awesome. And why not? Right? Why not? If you're using your equipment, your product anyway, you're using it anyway, why not just give a little feedback as to what's going on, and let that collective, the field, us as the audience, and the customers and members, get that feedback. So
and speaking of MagHealy, while we're waiting for everyone to put their first questions of 2024 into the chat, for those of you that saw the update on frequencies and friends, there was a great opportunity this month to earn MagHealy for free. So if you were to refer just 2 new members or customers with a Resonance Edition or higher, you would earn a MagHealy Classic, which is a great reward. If you refer 3, you get that MagHealy Classic, but also with the Meridians module. So that's a huge value there as well, our brand new Meridians module. And then if you go all the way to 4, you get a MagHealy Professional with the Meridians module. So that's, combined, that's around a $4,000 value just for those 4 successful referrals. And then you can repeat it too. So say you have a ton of people interested in Healy this month, once you get past 4, you can start over again. So if you get another 2, 3, or 4 after that, you can repeat that cycle unlimited for the month of January. So it's a great way to start the year for sure. Anyone that's looking to get another either their first MagHealy or another MagHealy, or possibly get the Meridians module for free as well.
So I get this question sometimes. That's a great deal, by the way, you guys. And I get this question sometimes too, as to the beginning and the end, or the deadlines and the beginning of certain specials, certain promotions and things like that. Jake, can you kind of talk about, it's like, because we're in the US, right? And Healy puts all these packages, these specials together. Sometimes they're just for US, but sometimes most of the time they're global. So what are those start and stop times?
So yeah, for this particular one, this is just for the Americas. So US, Canada, Mexico markets, any independent Healy World members in those 3 countries. And then to qualify, the referrals would have to take place between January 1st and January 31st. Cutoff time is 6:59 p.m. Eastern on January 31st. So
And
lots of time to go. We're only on January 2nd, so plenty of time to reach out to anybody that's maybe looking to try Healy as a new, sort of feature or introduction into their life here in 2024.
in the 6:59 p.m. Eastern, that's because Healy uses UTC time clock, right?
Yeah.
So 11:59 p.m., which would be like the end of one day and the beginning of the other, in the UTC time clock is a different time within our zones. So we just need to make sure we know those zones. 6:59 p.m. On the East Coast, 3:59 p.m. on the West Coast, and then do the math in between, right? So a little different. Yeah, that's where it starts or stops. Okay. So what do we got? We got any questions in there? There's Dory's saying, hey, is it possible to get the indicator, the battery indicator, a little more accurate? Or is that something made into the device? It's actually not made into the device. It's made into the software. It's an algorithm. It's a mathematical equation based on a assumption when it's first started up. So if yours is off, like for instance, really off, in other words, your 1 minute, your battery indicator says 100%, and then like 5 minutes later, it's dead. Okay. Well, that's not the Healy battery doing that. It's actually more probably the algorithm or the app that's a little bit miscalibrated. And so there is a calibration process. Anthony, maybe if you've got that handy, we could poke that into the chat here. There's a process of recalibration. It's a frequently asked question, so it's within our support module. When you ask that question.
That's a great tip, Anthony, if you want to just paste those instructions in there so anyone can save that chat and kind of refer back to it. But yeah, it's, as Ken kind of mentioned, it's not an indicator inside the Healy device itself. But yeah, there's certainly ways to improve that. As far as, if yours is out of whack and you want to delete the app and reinstall and then do a hard reset on your device, go through that calibration process of fully discharging the battery. So until the device turns off, fully charging it, fully discharged, fully charged, so go through a few cycles there. That typically will get you the most accurate battery level indicator going forward.
Yeah, so there's not like a little tester that tests the battery in the Healy hardware itself and then feeds that information to your smart device. It's all done wirelessly, but also within the app itself. So the software is there in the app. If you guys I don't know if you guys know this, maybe some folks haven't seen this before, but when you're in the Healy 2 app, and let's say you're running one of the microcurrent programs, or even if you're using the MagHealy, up at the top right corner of the app, there's a little battery indicator right there where you're looking at your battery. If you tap on that, it's actually an expandable window. And that when it expands, it gives you a percentage, right? It gives you your serial number of your device, your percentage, also the ability to turn your Bluetooth chip on or off within whatever hardware you're running right there, whether it's a Healy or MagHealy. So the point is that that's where it gives you some of that information, such as the percentage. So when if you're having problems, if it's doing some weird things, it's showing it's dead way before you think it should be, do that recalibration process and then monitor some of that percentage. You're going to need to do a couple of cycles of this recalibration so that it will then kind of train the app in relation to the Healy hardware or the MagHealy hardware. Okay. All right.
And this is a good question related to actually two questions related to charging, but one here about the minimum and maximum time to charge the battery. Can you want to talk about the different variables that kind of go into how fast that might charge? Because there's a lot of different ways to actually charge it.
It's true. So the little device here, I'm gonna just reach down and grab some. Okay, so some of you guys that have maybe the Apple product are familiar with this little white box. You see these little white boxes? Okay, so this is an AC adapter. It changes the wall current into a USB compatible output. USB stands for Universal Serial Bus, meaning it's universal across the world, that certain pins within this connector represent specific information. One of which is a 5-volt signal, 5 volts DC. All right. And that way, whatever, whether it be your camera, your smartphone, your Healy, whatever, all of these things are based on a 5-volt power supply. And then, so what we know what the voltage is that comes out of here, the difference, the variable between these different kinds of adapters is the current output, the amps that it puts out. Okay. The voltage, when I talk to people about what, voltage and current and amps and what's all that, right? So if we look at voltage would be like the hose, your garden hose that you're going to water something with. And amperage would be like the valve, the faucet that you're turning up or down. Okay. So if you got that valve wide open, it's shooting a lot of water out. Still the same size diameter of stream of water. So it's going to come out the hose the same size. But the amount of water coming out, because you've cranked the valve way high, is more. So the amount of water coming out, that's like the amperage. All right. The hose, or the size of the water stream, that's like the voltage. So the voltage is set 5 volts. It's a certain size, won't change. But you can adjust the valve, aka the amperage coming out of that. And the higher the amperage output, the faster whatever you're plugged into charges. Okay. So these little guys range, I think this one right here is like half an amp, or what equates to 500 milliamps. It's not very much in relative terms. The MagHealy likes 2,500 milliamps, right? That's 2.5 amps. It likes that. And anything below that means it's probably going to take either forever to charge, or it's not going to charge, not completely.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's a big problem, by the way. We want to make sure and feed it with the proper hose value, we want to make sure we feed it properly. So, and the Healy can take up to 2,500 milliamps as well. And so it's going to charge faster and it's going to charge better. So what is the charge time? Well, it varies again, based on that amperage. Commonly 90 minutes. It could be even all night. Depends on if you're just giving it a little bit of current or a lot. So make sure that you take a peek at what you've got plugged into the wall. The cord itself, folks, the wire that plugs into this, it's not relevant. It makes no difference as long as it's the proper other end that plugs into your Healy. It's a micro USB, and on the MagHealy, it's just it's a C micro. It's a USB-C that plugs into the charging plate. But so the cord can be changed out. If you break it, you damage it, you can get some, from most like office supply places, electronic places, all kinds of places.
Yeah, we sorry, Kenny, go ahead. I was just gonna
but
say
this
on
guy, this guy here that plugs into the wall, that's going to really be the determining factor as to how many amps are going to your device. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say related to the cord, we do get tickets occasionally where someone's saying, hey, I broke the charging cable that came with my Healy device. What do I do? We don't sell replacements because they're so easy to get anywhere else on Amazon for a few dollars at most, and probably a multi-pack for a few dollars for the USB-A to micro USB, which is what the current Healy device uses there. And a lot of people like to get a longer cable because the one that comes with the Healy device is short, but in certain situations, you might want a cable that's a little bit longer, and those are easy to find in multiple varieties of lengths on Amazon and the electronics store as well. So same with the MagHealy cable, MagHealy charger. You know, if you want an additional charger for your MagHealy, an additional wireless charging pad, you can, anything that has that wireless Qi standard, you see the QI sort of written there. You can use that to charge your MagHealy as well.
I mentioned the amperage output. Just make sure, and the usually those little adapters that plug into the wall, the writing on them is very small.
Yeah.
But you want to look for output, the output stats, output voltage, output current, not input, because there's two different stats on those particular blocks. There'll be one that's input, and it'll say anywhere from like 120 volts to it'll say the frequency and stuff, but the output voltage will be 5 volts at a certain amperage. And so yeah, you can go with the MagHealy, you can go, well, and you see Anthony's put in there a 3 amp or 3000 milliamp capacity. So and your Healy can handle that too, by the way. So
yeah,
you can use the same adapter, different cord, of course, but you can use the same wall plug. A lot of times these wall plugs, by the way, I know it's kind of confusing with all these different size of connections, right? You've got the standard USB size, which is big thing. And then you've got this micro USB, and then you have this C, and then you have this lightning plug.
And then you Google charger and you get fast charge or quick charge 3.0, or what's the
I know there's a lot of stuff out there. So folks, just take a breath, take a breath. And when you take a look at your charger, it's a good idea to identify what you have. The Healy charge plate has a USB-C, which is kind of an oval looking guy, right? And then just pay close attention to that when you're trying to find a cord that matches that. All right. And then here, the reset function, Anthony's put that in the chat. Guys, if you want to save this chat, which I highly recommend, just click on those three little dots down by where you put your chat questions in there, and it'll give an option to save chat. And at the end of the call, it'll pop up, if you're on your PC or laptop, a little message will pop up that you can save it to your device. All right. Only if you're on your PC or laptop, not if you're on a smartphone or tablet, not the same. Okay. All right. Let's see what we got here.
There's an interesting question here from Marty. So, Happy New Year, Techie team. So Happy New Year, Marty. But he's got an issue with the new Healy Advisor Analyse app. He's not able to get in. So it's going through the initial login page where you type in your username, password, and check the 3 boxes. And then it takes them to a sign-in page to enter username, password, which is the correct process. It takes you to that sort of single sign-on process now after you check those 3 boxes. And then it sends the verification code to the email address, which is, again, that's the correct process. That's the process that replaced the master key process that used to be in the Analyse app. But the problem is that email is going to spam folder, and I guess it's taking, by the time it gets to the spam folder, it's been too late. It's been past that 10 minutes cutoff where that code's no longer valid. So then it repeats the process, and after 3 attempts, it locks it for a specific period of time. So the question was, why is the verification code landing in my spam, and how do I solve this issue? So Ken, I think this is a case where Marty's going to need to add that email address that it's coming from to his safe senders list, so it doesn't go into the spam, and it goes instantly to the inbox. Then he can get the code. So I don't know if there's a universal process to do that. I think it depends on the email provider as far as how you add a specific email address to the approved or safe senders list. I do know a lot of times if you're in your spam folder and you click on the options for that particular email or right click on it, a lot of times it'll say add to safe sender list or add to, move to inbox or something like that along those lines.
Yeah. So if you take when you have an email in your email line, if you right click on it, it'll give you some options. It'll say move. If you click on the move function, it's going to move it and it'll give you some options. You put it into your main or your inbox or your primary. Some of those are some of the names that you might see. When you do that, it kind of automatically tags it as a safe email. Now, there's other ways to do that. Like Jake said, you could take an email sender's email address and add it to a safe list. But it's different based on the email handler. If it's Gmail, if it's Hotmail, if it's whatever they are, there's different things that you have to do. The best thing to do, I'm going to tell you my secret. I'm going to tell you my secret for the technical world to hear. My secret is to YouTube it. I'm telling you, I steer people to YouTube all the time. If you don't know how to do it, go to YouTube. And I promise you that there's some amazing presenter out there that did a video just on that question. So whether it be whatever your email handler system is, you'll probably find a YouTube presentation on how to take things out of spam, or not necessarily, but how to make them safe. So,
and Anthony put in the chat there. So the email address that it's coming from, that verification code email, is your.healy@healy.shop. So that's the email address that you would want to put in to your contacts, the safe sender list, whatever it might be on your email client.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
That'll do it. Okay. I know there's been a lot of things that have improved over the time because, initially everything had foreign designation. And there were some things that we were having some troubles with in the US, and a lot of folks were getting things sent to spam or rejected just because of security settings. So it's getting a lot better, and we just need to know, how do we allow things on our end? All right. Dory's asking, is it good to charge it in the computer USB? I don't recommend that.
Yeah.
Computer USB output is very low power. It's still 5 volts. It's still the right voltage. But remember, I said the garden hose, you turn that valve up and the water goes shooting out really high. That's like high current. The computer USB would be like a little trickle coming out the end of the hose, right? It's not a big old stream of water. It's very lower current. So the computers really were never designed, that USB port was really never designed to charge. Some power supplies have been adapted to do so, but no, I don't say use your computer. No. Okay. So Jade asks a question, please confirm, when using the Blue app, we don't need cables nor coil. That is correct. The Blue app, or the Healy Advisor Analyse app, that app works completely with the client. This is the cool thing about quantum entanglement. We talked about this on our presentations. When you put a client into the software, into the app itself, okay, you put a client in there. So this is the Blue app we're talking about. This is the one right here, off my shoulder, right here, the Healy Advisor Analyse app. When you put a client into the software, you have to put some very specific information about the client in there, right? It asks for their picture. It asks for their name, first and last. It asks for their birth month, year, and date. It asks for their birthplace, their gender, and then it takes a frequency recording signature. So all of that information, it weeds out any other being or entity in the universe, so that the quantum entanglement is only that person. So let's say that all we did was put a picture in there and nothing else. Well, have you ever heard anybody say, man, you look just like this guy I met the other day? Right. So some people, we look similar, right? And so a picture isn't enough. Or what about just put the picture in the name? Well, there's a lot of Jakes out there. There's a lot of Kens out there, right? So we need to start to narrow the field of focus that Healy is trying to entangle with. And that's why you put the content in there in the client record. Once you've done that, then everything that you do with the Healy to analyze that client is entangled and connected to that client. You don't need anything. You don't need electrodes. You don't need to be connected. You don't need the coil. The Healy hardware itself and the software and the quantum field are aligned and bridged. That's how the bridge works. Okay. It's awesome. We talked about that, right? We kind of dove into that a little bit on the Healy for Beginners and Beyond. We talked about how this consciousness is influencing the electron flow in the noise generator. It's actually the sound of electrons that's being communicated with. It's pretty cool. Okay, what else do we got? So here's one. It says, my MagHealy's been fine for a while, working great. Then all of a sudden can't use it on the base or a part. Okay, so we did talk a little bit about what power supply is being used to charge that. And I see that Anthony has put some content in there for you, Beth. So keep doing that. The plate, so Beth says, I'm using the original Healy cord and charging base plate. So those are not really what we're talking about. The cord, well, it could be bad, but probably not. If the lights are coming on, the cord is probably fine. The plate is probably not bad either. But the part that plugs into the wall that the cord's attached to, take a peek at that. And you guys are, Anthony and Beth, you guys are going back and forth, kind of getting things worked out.
Yeah, it's key, the part there about what that cord plugs into, which you had mentioned, because I'm just wondering, because as one of the recent firmware updates, it kind of optimized the charging process for longer battery life, or to extend the life of the battery itself. So maybe the charging block, the part that plugs into the wall that she was using, was borderline sort of working with the MagHealy, and as part of the sort of more controlled, a little bit slower charging process, maybe now that charging block isn't quite enough and needs to be upgraded to that 5-volt 3-amp recommendation.
Yeah, so what, guys, I want you to understand what these plates are doing. Okay, the plate that you set your MagHealy on, or a base, a plate that you set your cell phone on, what's happening there is essentially how Nikola Tesla transmitted energy through space, is a magnetic field. Okay, so inside that base plate is a coil, and there's power that runs through that coil that generates a magnetic emission, a magnetic field. And then within your device, within the MagHealy and within your smartphone, there is a collector, essentially a coil also in there, that takes that magnetic energy and converts it back into power. This is how we can transmit power through the air. And Nikola Tesla did that 100 years ago, right? This is how this is how the original way to transfer power was developed. So it's doing the exact same thing right there. But there is a degree of loss. What I mean by degree of loss in electronics or in engineering, we have to deal with loss of energy through a wire, or loss of energy through a magnetic field emission. And so this is why we're asking for a 3000 milliamp or a 3-amp supply, so that you can get enough power through the coil up into the MagHealy to charge it properly. Okay, so it's important. You know, what used to work that doesn't now, just try what we're talking about, going with a higher output, and see how that does for you. Okay. So let's see. I think Marty's working on trying to get that codes to.
I think I found in one of the replies that I found the answer there. So I think think we're okay.
Awesome.
But there was thank you, Anthony, for helping out with multiple chats going on right now. But yeah, and one of the other ones that was answered, which is a great question, it's worth discussing. In the Analyse 2 app, does one put themselves in as a client or as the me section? So yeah, that's one of the new features, the new sort of structure of the new Analyse app versus the old one. The old one, everyone was in the clients, even yourself. Now you, the owner of the Healy device, has their own little section. You can keep yourself separate from all the clients. So it's kind of easier to keep track of just your history, your activity. The default is when you open it up, it goes to the me section. And if you want to go to the client section, you can as well.
Yeah. So you could put yourself in both, but you, as the owner of the device, are the me. You're the me. You're not me, but you're you me. All right. I love it. Okay. Let's see. Here's another question. What do you suggest if you want to run a program when you're going to sleep, but you don't want to drink a bunch of water at bedtime? So when we are looking at our proper hydration, the equation is half your body weight in ounces of water per day. So now you don't want to get that all in the morning, but you want to try to spread it out over a long period of time. So you don't need to drink a bunch of water before you go to bed. It's just that you're hydrating the body throughout the day. This is an even stream, pardon the pun, but it's a bit of an even ingestion of water. And then you're going to have pretty much an even output too. So you can kind of gauge that kind of stuff. If we're inconsistent and we drink, a whole bunch of water in the afternoon and nothing in the morning, then, it's really hard to kind of get a rhythm. I recommend trying to just, if you make your calculation, like I said, half your body weight in ounces of water. And that's if you're exercising, if you're doing additional things, or if you're carrying extra weight on the body, you're going to have to up that number. But as a baseline, where to start is half your body weight in ounces of water. If you're 100 pounds, that's 50 ounces a day. Spread it out over, the hours of your day. It's pretty easy, right? If you have a 20-ounce cup, if you have 20 ounces, you're only going to have 2.5 of those in the whole day, right? So just spread it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good question here. There are a lot of MagHealy questions today, which is great. But the question is, a couple of questions, I guess. Can I use the MagHealy when it's charging to run a program and frequencies? And does it have to be in the on position or off? And can it touch the body when charging? So let's start with the last part there. If your MagHealy is on the charging pad and you want to use it to run an atmosphere program where it's kind of, influencing the room itself, that's fine. That's how it's, you can, of course, if you want to run the program for a longer period of time, you'll need to keep it on the charger or also to run out, after around 4 hours or so, depending on the intensity you have it set at. But if you're running one of the programs where the MagHealy is meant to be placed on your body, do not do that on the charging pad on top of yourself. That's not the proper way to use that there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Remember, like I said before, remember what I said, the way that the charging system works, it's creating a magnetic field. And it's sending that magnetic wave out of the charging base. So if you have the MagHealy on the charging base, it activates that system. And then if you put that on your body, now you're having a 60 hertz magnetic wave, right? Because that's the frequency of the signal. There's really not much of a frequency of the signal because it's a 5-volt supply. But the point is there's still a frequency to it, which is not inclusive of the frequencies your MagHealy is putting out. So yeah, you don't want to put that on your body. It's not the way it's designed. Okay. Let's see. How we doing? Are we caught up? So were there more than one question in there? Because it was like, can I use the MagHealy when it's charging and running a program in frequencies? So Jake answered that as a yes. If it's some of the programs that have like this infinity sign, or
Yeah.
you want to run them forever. Other programs have a time limit, and you just run them for that amount of time.
Yeah, and
They're already,
the position, it would, you want to put it in position 2. So position 1 is the off, position 2 is on, where just the top 2 lights are sort of flashing or pulsating, and the position 3 is where the outer LED ring lights have the pulsing pattern there.
and guys, I only use the position 3 if I'm doing a demo. I mean, it kind of
Yeah.
looks right. It's if you're running anything for that infinity time, what are
Mhm.
you doing? You're probably doing a sleep, or maybe you're doing some atmosphere, and that's not really having a strobe light going when you're trying to sleep. That's probably
Yeah.
not useful.
Yeah.
But
And it
it
uses
also,
a little bit more battery life, of course. I mean, these are LEDs; they don't, use a lot of power. But if you're wanting to maximize how long you can run it off the charger, definitely stick with position 2 versus 3.
100%, 100%. Okay, so we got a question here. So with the natural cycle, you don't need to follow the water protocol. So natural cycle is a 24-hour cycle. What comes up on the natural cycle to run, say, a program at 3 a.m. or to drink water, or all that stuff, that's within a 24-hour cycle. If you follow it to the T, you're going to do those things at those hours. Now, you don't have to. You don't have to. You can run the program ahead of time. Our organs turn on and off based on circadian rhythm, period. Okay. Wherever you are in the world, when the sun comes up and the sun goes down, there is a cycle in which you are attuned. So if you want to stay with that attuned cycle, then you're going to have organs turn on at 2 o'clock in the morning, right? They're doing their job. And if you want to optimize that, then you do those works. If you don't, well,
I think that, the key is, if run that program at the next available hours that you're awake. It's I think the whole point is to get onto a nice cycle, a nice rhythm. And if you're waking yourself up at 3 in the morning to run the program and drink multiple glasses of water, that's going to do more harm to get you out of your cycle, most likely. If you're interrupting your sleep and then you're drinking too much, then you have to go to the bathroom. So I think that's not what it's meant to be, so strict to the actual minutes and the actual ounce of water, if that's going to have other negative effects on your routine.
Once upon a time, we're the same species, but once upon a time, we would rise and set with the sun, right? I mean, we didn't have artificial light. So unless you built a fire, you were going to bed with the sun. You were waking up with the sun. And depending on where you are in the world, that could be at different times, right? The days become longer in certain areas than shorter in others. So you really ran on those cycles. So your body is the same way. It has a clock that is in sync with the sun. So my philosophy in health or in performance or in coaching is always about do, evaluate, and course correct. So you do it the way you want to, evaluate, then course correct. Maybe then do it the way it's outlined, evaluate, course correct. So again, it's be the experiment. I say this, you've probably heard me say it before. You are the governing agent for your health. You, not me, not even the Healy instructions, you. So follow what those guidelines are, see what it does. Modify them, see what it does. Worst case scenario is you're going to be a a sleep pattern that gets disrupted, but you can go right back to the other pattern, no problem. Okay. Let's see. So Beth, looks like you're having some troubles with the MagHealy. I think Anthony's working on things with you. Hopefully we'll get some things sorted out for you. You know, that might be some things to look at. I have had some reports of the MagHealy, you know, having troubles charging and not holding a charge and that kind of thing. I've had those reports. People have talked about that and had to replace them. So it's interesting. We're seeing some other reports right here.
Yeah, if we can't get an answer on this call, yeah, certainly submit that support ticket and our team will take a closer look.
Yeah, it's important to make sure that we're supplying it with the proper power. As you know, doing those kind of things, making sure that it's you're cycling it through its full range. Now, I have also talked to folks who have been leaving it on the charging pad like all the time because they're constantly running something. This is going to cause some issues over time. You know, you need to cycle it. What I call cycle is that you charge it 100%. You completely use it 100%. So the battery goes completely dead, and then repeat and get a good rhythm. And then perhaps start to do a couple of sessions where it is left on there for the period of time that would normally go dead in. So, but not every time. Not every time. You need to make sure you're cycling that battery, not leaving it on that charging base all the time. Okay. Are we caught up or do we have, let's see what we got. I'm going to see if I can. I always left it on the base, so that was okay. And so this is one of those things that can definitely cause it to stop functioning properly, especially week after week. You know, folks, it's not different than your smart device. Leave it plugged in all the time, right? And use it like that. You're not going to go very far with it plugged in all the time, are you? It's a mobile phone, but if there's a cord connected to it, you're not going to go very far. But the point is, you're the same kind of thing is going to happen with your smart device, right? It's going to, the battery life expectancy, its functionality is all going to be compromised. Okay. All right. Let's see. Do we got anything else going on here?
I think we're caught up as of right now.
Yeah, I think we are caught up. Hopefully you guys caught the frequencies and friends today. Like Jake said, that recording is already up on the page, so you can check it out if you didn't. You know, everything that's coming up for January is there.
Yeah, we reminder, no What's Up Wednesday tomorrow for those of you that normally participate and attend that. Because we had frequencies and friends today and kind of revealed everything for the month. We won't have that tomorrow, but the big thing is if you have not yet registered for Healy World Meets the World, which is next, well, actually a good time to remind people. So next Tuesday, Healy World Meets the World is at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and it's a 2-hour long call. So we're not going to have Tech Tip Tuesday next Tuesday because everyone will be on Healy World Meets the World. I'll be on Healy World Meets the World. Ken will be on Healy World Meets the World. There's going to be a ton of great information shared, amazing speakers. There's going to be exclusive discounts that are available just for people that have registered for Healy World Meets the World. And the early bird cutoff is tomorrow. It's 20 euros, the virtual ticket price, until tomorrow at 5:59 p.m. Eastern. So if you're looking to attend, make sure you buy your ticket or register by tomorrow, January 3rd at 5:59 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, sorry guys, we won't see you next week for Tech Tip Tuesday, but we'll be back the week after.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be everyone around the world, globally. Healy for Beginners and Beyond is being broadcast in the Asia Pacific markets and the Europe markets, and here in multiple languages. This is a very big production. It's not a regular Frequencies and Friends. It's not a regular What's Up Wednesday. You're going to hear from all of our founders, all of our executives, and additional special speakers and guests will be present as well, with sharing some insights and exclusive offers, and a sort of a peek into the plan of what's to come in 2024.
Exciting stuff. Don't want to
Yeah.
miss that. You guys don't want to miss that. All right, let's see. Any new questions, you guys? Oh, that's a good question. Mari says, why do we pay to be in that program? Is it a private program? It's a private, well, it's for members only.
Yeah, it's a private event. It's not going to be put on our YouTube channel. So if anyone's thinking, well, I'll just catch it on our YouTube channel for free later, that's not going to be the case for this one, for Healy World Meets the World. If that time isn't convenient for anyone, next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, you will be able to watch the replay via the link you get when you register for 30 days after the event. But the recording is not going to be posted on either the Healy World Official or the Healy World Americas channels on YouTube.
So it's going to be some training, and it's going to be some information that, it's worthwhile. So let's see. So Marty's asking, where do I sign in? Everybody should have had an email, or can we put a link in here?
Yeah, let me find the link and I'll post it in the chat.
Link, and we'll put it in here. So, it is presenters to all over the world, from our corporate people, from, some training stuff. I love new information, right? And I'll pay for new information because it tends to be worthwhile. As Healy has become a model for my life, and it's a business model, as well as a living, working, healing model for me. And as a result, I've dove deep into understanding how it works, as well as how to coach with that within the Healy model. So it is something that's, it's a income stream for me. And so I do pay for training, no different than perhaps if I was a mechanic, that I would pay for some training to go out and get some new skills on a new car that just came out, or a new technology just came out. And that's, again, what Healy's doing. There's always some kind of new concepts, new offerings, new advancements. And so here's the training. Jake put the link in there, guys. So again, remember, if you want to save this chat, don't forget to click on those 3 little dots, save it, or just copy and paste it right there from where he put it.
Yep.
Yes, and we'll all be on that call, having a good
Yeah,
old party.
we've got a couple members of our team that'll be answering any questions that come up in the chat. We've got coverage in the chat in English, Spanish, and Mandarin. So it's gonna be a lot of fun.
And there's special offers. It's only going to be on this call, right? I mean, you want to
Yep.
spill?
Yeah, I mean, if you're if you take advantage of any of these exclusive offers, the $20 registration fee is going to look small compared to the savings you'll be able to get from attending.
There you go, guys. A little hint.
Yeah.
Is this a Zoom or a webinar?
It's not on Zoom. I don't know the exact platform that it's on, but you'll get the link after you register, and you'll be able to click on that and go straight to the meeting on January 9th.
So 20 euros in USD is
It's,
probably
I
like,
think it's around 20 with the taxes and fees, and like around 25 or something like that, 26. I think it depends on the exchange rate for the day, but it's a little bit more than 20, but less than 30. So
yeah, and of course, depending on your taxes for your
yeah,
state and city and county.
sure.
All right, guys. Well, hey, there's the end of our hour. It was a lot of fun. I'm glad we were able to get through some of those questions, and hopefully that will solve some of the mysteries you guys have had. Remember, we won't be here next Tuesday, but of course, get on board with the Healy World Meets the World, and then that'll be probably more fun anyway, right? But
There'll
anyway,
be thousands of people from around the world taking part in this next Tuesday. So
it'll be a different fun, right?
yeah.
Okay. So thank you, Jake. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you guys for being here. So much appreciate you guys. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. For now, have a happy new year and big loves. See you guys.